these as they are easy as fuck to paint and make look awesome with normal skill. Their master is the locker warden, a custodian who will be the equal to treasure for Horus, since his task is not only to safeguard all the hectic shit within the dark cells, but also retrieve anything that escapes. The current locker warden is also first, known as a really intense noble.
All right, in this one we got some really good comments to respond to, and hopefully it'll be beneficial and helpful to my older lifters because it involves gut health and some of the issues I'm going through. I'm talking to a couple of guys that are going through similar things, so we're going to discuss that. For all my Warhammer guys out there, I am putting together a video for you guys. I almost got my Terminators done. I got to do the final highlighting and the final touches on them. Jeez, I know it's taken, I know I said it's a really simple 3-stage process that will only take 3 days, but because I work full-time and I am working 7 days a week, I really only have put about 3 hours of work into these things, but it's taken me a week spread out to do these. So even though it seems like a long time, it actually is a really short process. So I'm putting together that video for you guys. But this one is involving men's health, lifting, and life in general. Now, I'll tell you one thing, boys. If you're ever feeling down on yourselves, do not look at YouTube analytics. I'm a simple guy, and I don't really know the ins and outs of all the YouTubes and stuff. So I was taking a look at the analytics, trying to figure out if I could figure out a way to, you know, get my channel out there more, because I am really trying hard with this stuff. I'm almost up to 2,000 subscribers, and even though it is a small community, the people that are returning to engage it's genuine. It's a genuine 2,000 subscribers. So there's none of that. Like, I never paid for subs or any of that stupid crap. Honestly, I never thought in a million years I'd have more than 5 people to listen to me. I mean, I'm a pretty good lifter, so there is that. But this whole thing's been kind of surreal. But I was looking at my analytics, and it was saying that the average view time is like 26 seconds. That's not even long enough to get through the intro video. So that means, you know, I'm pouring my heart out and like working my ass off, and I'm writing scripts so that I have notes, so I have a topic to talk about. And I'm like, I do all this work and I'm doing it all by myself. And then you look at that and you're like, oh, they're not even like hearing me get to the point of the video. Like, I'm that off-putting that they can't even be bothered to let me explain myself. Oh, man. But what it did say that it was very encouraging was that my return viewers are exponentially higher. And oddly enough, that I got a spike when I started doing the Warhammer stuff. My big fear was that I was going to lose subscribers. I was going to lose the guys that have been following me up to this point if I started talking about the nerd stuff that I'm into. But so far, that hasn't been the case, and I'm really grateful for that. And hopefully it's like, you know, the people that know me know me. They know you know what you're getting when you get me. You're getting a nerd that works out. You know, I was that kid that collected comic books in school, and I was in the art club, and I was in the chess club. But oddly enough, I also played sports. I don't know. I got beat up a lot. That made me the feisty little man you see in front of you today. All right, our first comment is Duacote 6633. Your supervisor is not professional. We'll talk about the previous video where I was talking about the problem I have with my boss. Go through the motion and avoid the pushback. I kind of tend to agree with you. You got to really pick your battles, especially with somebody that has your job on the line. Share the fault, confirm what could have mitigated it, and express what you've taken away from the experience and how it shaped your process going forward. I know and have known people like this. And he goes on to say, like, one of them is one of the best people he's worked with, and it caused him to redefine himself. And yeah, so I wholeheartedly agree with you. You know, I did own what I thought I could have done better in retrospect. He hasn't responded to it. I suspect he will in his own time. I still kind of have that hanging over my head, but I've decided to just kind of give it to God and just have faith and move forward and just keep doing what I'm doing. If I'm doing my job, what are they going to really say? At the end of the day, I didn't really do anything wrong. So whatever issues he has, I don't know. But then goes on to ask or say, curious about the gut health. Now, as you guys, anyone who's following me knows that I get severe bloating and I look like I'm pregnant. It really sucks to have 11% body fat and be shredded only to have videos where you look like you're pregnant and you can't suck your gut in. And then get endless comments about it. So doing all this work, training your ass off, being in the best shape of your life, being the strongest guy on the planet, and having the stupid gut and getting just indignant comments left and right, it makes it so you don't even want to post videos anymore. It's just so disheartening. But he goes on to say, curious about the gut health. I'm about the same age and also have gut issues that have manifested in the last 5 years. Curious what you find is the easiest on your gut and what foods you're avoiding to improve the situation. For me, non-soluble fiber is kicking my butt. I have bloating, and a nutritionist claimed it's common for men over 50. That same nutritionist then went on a diatribe detailing all the foods I need to omit from my diet to improve the condition. Interesting enough, I do not eat the foods of concern: sweets, wheat, fried foods, and even 3 with the most focus. Okay. So, I've had this issue, probably about the same amount of time. So I have 2 things going on. One, I have a separation in my ab wall. I don't know if you can see it, which the abs have stretched out, and they could surgically repair that, like a tummy tuck. But since I'm competing in powerlifting, my doctor said, don't do that until you're done competing. Just make sure you wear a belt when you go heavy, focus on core tightness, that kind of thing. Because if I get that surgery, it'll take me out for 6 months, and then I'll lose. If you're going to compete, he said, just wait. That's more cosmetic, and it does contribute to the problem, but I also have the bloating issue. Now, only recently, in the last couple of months, has it gotten to the point where it's out of control, and I can't do anything about it. So, if I want to, I can do intermittent fasting. Now, if I do intermittent fasting and say I make a video, I will be shredded. I'll have flat abs. But what tends to happen is after a long day of work and I haven't eaten a thing, I get home and then I'm sitting in the air conditioning and I'm relaxing and I think about training. And I'll go inside and I'll eat something stupid like a cookie or just the dumbest. Just why would you do that after putting yourself through that all day? And then I'm like, just one cookie's not gonna hurt anything. And the goddamn kids have sweets everywhere. I swear to God, I'm trying not to eat sugar. That's the number one culprit. And I'll eat something stupid and I'll blow up like a balloon. And it's like, God, if I would have just waited. So usually I'll try to fast. And if I train fasted, you can't even tell I have this issue. It is just non-existent. But the second I eat something that's bad for me, I just blow up like a puffer fish. Now, obviously, like what you said was fried foods, and for me, leafy greens like raw vegetables are a real issue. And one thing my doctor has me trying is what she said. My gastroenterologist told me that the body uses different enzymes to break different foods down, and if you're going to eat proteins, you're signaling your body to start secreting a certain type of enzyme to break proteins down. And she said that even under abnormal conditions, the average human body will liquefy proteins in minutes. Now, if you eat carbs on top of that, that's a different type of enzyme, and now you're telling your body to digest slowly. Or you're signaling, I'm not sure if it's protein or carbs. Which one's the fast one, which one's the slow one? But basically, one of them you're telling your body's being signaled to digest slow, and the other one, the body's being signaled to digest quickly. And by mixing them together, you're kind of confusing things, and that's what causes gas and indigestion. People of our age. So what she suggested trying was separating, eat proteins by themselves, eat carbs by themselves. Sugar is the number one thing. If you could eliminate sugar completely, sugar is poison. It feeds the bad bacteria in our gut. It's just there's a whole bunch of the downstream issues that it causes. If you're like pre-diabetic or diabetic, it can cause insulin resistance. It's just sugar's just poison. She told me to look at sugar as if I am intentionally eating pesticides or something of that nature. And I had to confront the fact that just like I'm an alcoholic and I don't drink, I'm addicted to sugar and I just can't have it. I can go forever without eating any candy or cookies or donuts. But the second I eat anything of sugar, I'm eating all of it. Just like an alcoholic, you can go months and months and months without a beer. Then you crack one, and what happens? Well, two sounds good, you know, and then off to the races you go. Same thing with sugar. And you gotta almost have to treat it the same way. Almost identical. Unfortunately, and since no cop has ever pulled you over and given you a DUI for eating too many donuts, it's one of those things where it can be hard for people to police themselves because they don't have the extreme negative consequences, and it's not like society's not going to correct you, if you're eating, cookies. Society will tell you if you drink too much. They say you stink. They say you can't drive home. They'll fire you from your job. Your wife will leave you. She'll take all your money, but you can eat donuts, and no one's going to really tell you, like, hey, you should probably stop doing that. It's a little bit more socially acceptable, if that makes sense. So it can be really hard for people to police themselves because no one's going to do it for you. So that's when it comes down to just like digging deep and having that discipline. And I'm about 90% good. I'm not there, guys. I'm telling you, I just keep screwing myself over. But what I have done is, I would say, where I used to eat sugar daily, I would literally come home with a box of Winchell's donuts after work. Now I'm no longer purchasing or going, I'm not going to the store and picking up, we're not keeping things in our cabinets, or I'm not getting ice cream anymore. So I'm not purchasing sugar. What I really need now is that discipline, because for some reason the kids always come home with candies and cookies and snacks, and they'll just be sitting there on the counter, and I'm just like, ooh, no one's gonna miss one of those, right? Meanwhile, I'm out in the garage rolling around like a goddamn puffer fish. It's like, you know what you did? Fried foods, yeah, fried foods. I noticed with certain types of hydrogenated oils, if you look at the way the hydrocarbons are arranged, it's super hard for the body to break those down, and they're like one of the worst things that you could put into your body is hydrogenated oils. Think of it as like, I have to in my mind think I'm eating plastic. And if I take anything that's hydrogenated and it's a vegetable oil, you have to think that you're drinking motor oil. That's the mindset you have to have, because your body cannot process it. It's even almost as bad as cellulose. Cellulose is one of those things where we are just not meant to digest it. We're not like a cow. We don't have two stomachs. And that's that insoluble fiber you were talking about. You're thinking about it like you're eating glass, right? Well, a lot of that can be mitigated by cooking, preparation. That's like if you're going to have greens, prepare them. Boil that stuff or steam it or do whatever you have to do. Think of that as pre-digesting it. I love salads. I love kale. I love spinach. I love it. But unfortunately, we just can't digest it, so that's just going to add to the issues. So cellulose, any like raw vegetables, like the real leafy greens, fried foods, certain types of dairies. Now, what is really good for us, I found out, are eggs. And I love to hard-boil eggs, and I will make, you got to season them because it's just an egg. You got to put a little salt or something on it. I like to take turmeric, black pepper, and ginger, mix them up and put them in a bowl, and I'll dip the hard-boiled egg in it and eat it. And I have my own egg production at home because we have 20 chickens, and I get about 20 eggs a day. So Eggs are a green light. You can have as many eggs as you want. As a matter of fact, you can almost live off of eggs. And when I do, I find that I don't have bloating issues at all, and I feel great. The only problem is I get lazy. You know, when I get home from work, I don't want to peel hard-boiled eggs. I get sick of eating them. And sometimes I'll go for just the easiest thing. It's sitting right in front of me, and it's usually like whatever, you know, just whatever the... Stay away from anything. If it comes in a box, throw it out. Get rid of that crap. I'm finding that all processed foods is just whatever. I don't even look at the ingredients anymore. I just assume that if it comes in a box or a wrapper, it's going to immediately blow me up like the Hindenburg. You know what I'm saying? So stay away from that. Keep identifiable foods. Things that really help are fish, especially the oily type. You know, like your Atlantic salmon, that kind of thing. Fish, eggs, aged cheeses, things of that nature. They're all a green light. You can eat most seeds, nuts, that kind of thing. There's certain ones you have to stay away from. I have a list of foods, and it's not super extensive, but it is mostly fried foods, leafy greens, unprocessed vegetables, hydrogenated oils, and, of course, sugar. That's the number one thing. If you can eliminate sugar, you're ahead of the game 100%. Well, that comment took up more time than I wanted it to, but it's really important. It's a lot of what guys our age are dealing with. I'm finding, I didn't know how prevalent of an issue that this gut thing was for guys that are close to 50. Learning the hard way, I'll tell you what. I got time for another comment. So this is JA37D-34. Sounds like an insecure boss. This is in reference to the previous video I made where I talked about issues I'm having at work. Again, of course. Met similar types. I don't get them. People should know when they don't have the leadership to have that position and leave petty things out like jealousy or whatever he suffers from. And then he went on to say, let me guess, he has not done any service. Interesting. When I first met him, he had the shirt with the American flag on that a lot of the veterans like to wear, which are not popular. A lot of people wear them. Cool, American flag, we're good to go. I like to see it. And then he had the combat boots on, had his pants tucked into his boots, and my first thought was, Navy, Army? I don't know, that's weird. I mean, but he hasn't done a lick of service. I don't hold that against anybody. We all have different paths in lives. I happen to be a Marine. Maybe you went to college. You know what I mean? It's like that's just something I did, and I don't judge people for having served and not served. You know, we all do our own thing. You know, that was just my path. You know, I was a homeless kid. I wanted to get off the streets, and the Marines had the coolest uniform. You know, it changed my life. I wish I could say there was like some altruistic, like World War II reason, like I wanted to serve my country because. Yeah, at the time I was just like, man, I'm a loser and I need to get my life together, and the military seemed like a really good option. And I'm super glad I did it. It will always be a part of me, and I'm very proud of what I did. I'm very proud of the EGA. You know, I earned that title. But again, I don't judge you if you didn't. Absolutely not. But there's something weird about when somebody tries to act as if. You know, they wear the clothes, they try to walk the walk, they try to talk the talk, and when they meet somebody that has actually served, they think they have this secret, like, there's like this rivalry or this jealousy or resentment. I don't know what it is, but it's definitely a friction, and it's almost palpable. You can just sense it, you can almost cut through it. And I think the other thing I notice, because I pay attention to people for a living, that's what I do, is I just watch and listen. Watch and listen. I hear everything, and I just get to know people just by watching them and listening to them. And I noticed with him, it was really bothered when me and one of the other safeties, how close and personable we are with almost every single trade. We would go onto a job site, and they'd have different trades. You have the plumbers, you have the tin knockers, you have the blockies, you got the carpenters, you got, you know, the laborers. And I'd be like, hey, what's up, bro? Hug it up, man. I haven't seen you. What project you been on? And we're all like best friends. And then, you know, he's super protective of the iron workers in his corner of the company. And he was even saying that, like, you know, he doesn't know if I have the chops to handle such a big division when they came into town. The erection side of it, I was running Southwest Stairs, and then when SME, the steel erection side, came in, they asked me if I could run that as well. But he was really concerned that I would be able to handle that because those are the rough iron workers. First thing I did is walked up and hugged Jonah because I'd known him for years, and all the guys in low 433 are 433. I've known them all for decades. And I think it was a little off-putting to him when he saw how close I was with the guys and that I knew them all. And you know, even then, behind my back, he said that he wasn't sure that I would be able to handle them. It's like, dude, what are you trying? Why? Why are you saying that? Like, I've known all these guys for years. So I thought maybe there's something to that. Is it's like a jealousy, a resentment? Does it bother him that I'm that close to people? And my other safety, the other guy that works under me, he's the same way. You know, he gets along with everybody. We all know each other. We all go back a very long time. It's a very close-knit community here in Las Vegas, and chances are, if you run into somebody on a job site, you're going to run into them again on another one. So that's where reputation is really big. If you're a person that has a bad reputation, or you're not a man of your word, or you're, as we say in the Marine Corps, a shitbag, it's going to follow you, and you know, you're just screwed. You're screwed. So you got to be super, super careful, or you got to protect your reputation, and a lot of that is just being a man of your word. And I think there's something, these guys, they're very regional managers, and he works, 5 or 6 different states, so you don't get a chance to really cultivate those personal relationships. And, you know, I don't know what he deals with. I know that his department's super toxic, and I'm glad I don't have to suffer those people. But then, I don't know, man. I don't know why he is the way he is. If it was me, and I had a problem with somebody, and I am this way, I just go up and talk to him. I'm like, bro, this is an issue. We need to do something different. And I've never had anybody like want to fight me over it, or get really mad or upset. You know, we all get a little butthurt when somebody tells us when they criticize us, but you get over that in a minute or two. Somebody tells you you're fucking up and you need to change what you're doing. Yeah, it can sting a little, but what are you going to do? You know, you take that information, you make the change, and you move forward. And if you're the type of person that's just not interested in doing that, you're not going to last long anyways. Good people are hard to find, and when you get some, you want to try to keep them. And I don't know what his game is, man. I mean, he had me thinking, honestly, today when I woke up, I had a job offer from another company, and they do the elevators and escalators. And again, I've known these guys for years too, and they were saying they got a couple projects coming up, and they wanted me to come over, specifically me. And I was like, well, I'm already set up here with Southwest Steel, and I really love my job. After what he did put me through, I thought about calling Tony up and being like, hey, bro, let's do it. Bottom line, I have options. You know what I mean? Like, if this is something that doesn't improve, I can go elsewhere. But I'm not the type of guy that just cuts and runs from his problems. So I don't, you know, if somebody gave me a better offer and they doubled my salary and they just gave me some, you know, it'd be stupid not to leave, that's different. But if I'm running away from my problems, that's not living by the principles that I said I was supposedly living by. So I need to stick it out and see if I can't figure it out. But it's Memorial Day, and I have to go to work. So it's 4 o'clock. I got to get dressed, and I got to get over to the shop and check in on the boys. I love you guys. I will see you on the battlefield.